Welcome once again to the Liftoff Indie Music Podcast, sponsored by Soul Blast Music Group. I am your host, D-Ray, the producer. And to my right, my queen ace, Miss Banks, is in the building. What it do, queen? What it do? How are you?
I'm doing blessed, and highly favored. Happy New Year to
Happy
my
New
favorite
Year.
Producer.
Oh my God, this is 2023. Can you imagine?
It is 2023.
It's like we blinked and 2022 just went away.
It's here.
Yeah.
You're looking real slim and refreshing.
I tell you, some changes over the Christmas holiday.
You better come do it.
Got to get down to my...
Take you on the run-a-thon.
You know what I mean? I got to get down to my fighting weight, so people stop trying me. But anyway, thankful to be here. Thankful for new beginnings. And I am excited for this show. This is our first one of the year. I am ecstatic with the guests that we have. A very, very cool and talented band out of the UK. That we cannot wait to introduce to you all, and talk a little bit about music. But if you guys are listening, do you hear that? You hear that music that's playing?
I do. It sounds amazing.
That is my new single, Sky Daddy, an instrumental that I released that was released yesterday on all digital platforms, and so check it out. It's my little Afrofuturism sort of tribute, so I appreciate that. I was happy to be able to release that and get that out there. So, Miss Banks, anything you want to add before we bring our guests on?
No, I'm excited about our guests. I'm waiting.
I like your hat.
Well, thank you. It's new. Since it's a new year, I figured I'd do new hair and new hats. And so
one of these days we're gonna have to do a podcast on people from Texas and their hats.
I don't know how many people it's going to be because I'm originally from California, and California people wear hats. Texas people just wear cowboy hats. So, we could try. It'll be a competition. I'm sure I'd win.
You just messed the entire joke up. So we're just going to move on. All right.
Where you was trying to go. But I'm going to always promote myself.
I see.
Now what?
What? Nothing.
So 2023 ain't nothing different from 2022.
Nah.
Let's bring our guests on before you and I get to argue.
Yeah, before we get to arguing like an old married couple as we've been talked about. Yes. Without further ado, everyone, we would like to introduce you to the band Life in Mono, straight out of the UK. We are looking forward to them, talking to them. And there's Adam, there's Mike. Welcome to the Liftoff, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us. Thanks so much for having us, guys.
Yeah. All right, so let's start off by telling us a little bit about yourselves. I don't care which one of you goes first, but tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got started in music.
As individuals or as a band?
How about we're going to start with individuals first, and then as a band second.
All right. Well, so I've been playing music for if I tell you how long, it'll give away how old I am. But since I was young, and I started off playing the bassoon, which I always like to mention because it's the least cool instrument on the planet. And then one day someone pointed out that you should probably play a guitar because no one ever got a boyfriend or a girlfriend from playing the bassoon, That
is a lie, but we continue because it's a scientific fact that woodwinds got more than brass players. But anyway, continue.
And then
we'll find out later how he knows that, but go ahead.
Yeah.
No, you will not. Some things we just go take to the grave, but continue, Adam.
So I started playing bass, I guess, when I was like 13 or something, and now we're like however many years later, quite a few years later, and been in bands ever since. Went to university to study music, which is where I met our singer Sarah and this guy here, Mike, as well. And man, just been plugging away at it, playing in toilet venues and writing music and doing stuff.
That's called paying dues, Adam. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So Mike, what about you, buddy?
So interesting start to music. Both my sisters were really musical at school. Like, sister was great at piano, and my other sister was on saxophone. I didn't touch an instrument until I went round my mate's house, had a drum kit, and was like, I quite like this. Get to hit stuff, this is great. So, taught myself as best I could. Mucked around in rock bands. Was in a funk band with a mutual friend of ours for a long time. Just kind of how I met Adam. And then Adam gave me a shout a year and a bit ago saying our band needs a drummer. Do you fancy giving it a go? And we've been gigging pretty fit. Been going pretty well since then.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Banks.
So when did the band actually decide to come as a whole? Who and what made you guys just sit down and say, you know what, let's leave this band, and let's start this band, or is that how that happened?
Sarah and James, which they wanted to be here today, but they couldn't, unfortunately. They're the other half of Life in Mono. So Sarah, who I'd been in bands with since I was like 18 or something. I'm 33 now. I'm 33. So it's been a while. We've been making.
Don't look it all.
Right.
You're such a baby. You're such a baby.
A real baby.
You better believe it. Thank you, guys. We've been in bands for a good while, and I don't know, at some point Sarah was getting a project together under a different name, a bunch of different songs, but kind of had the nucleus of this sound that she was going for, and then at a certain point, it was really like a process of trying to find all the right musicians, and at some point I was in another band as well at the time, and then that band fell apart, and then the members of her band, she was suddenly like, I don't really have anyone, I've got a couple of people who are sitting in, do you want to come and do this? And so me and her started making tunes together with James, who Sarah brought in, our incredible guitarist James, and it just kind of happened really organically, and then about a year and a half ago we had a little personnel change, and it wasn't quite right anyway. We still hadn't quite found the kind of the last person, and I suddenly remembered I have a friend who plays drums who's amazing, and I should give him a shout, and that's where Mike came from. So yeah.
Well, shout out to Sarah and James. Even though they couldn't be here, they're still a part of your phenomenal group. We don't want them to feel left out. So definitely shout out to them. Yeah. Shout out to Sarah, who sounds like she was pretty much the mastermind, because women typically are.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's true, man.
I'm sorry. I hurt my eyeballs.
You did not.
Before we play the first song, who wants to give the explanation of Life in Mono? Because as a producer, I get it, but with you guys, what was the inspiration behind Life in Mono?
The name?
Yes.
I'll let you answer that one, Adam.
So it was Sarah's name, actually, and masterminding it yet again over there. We were looking for something that I think our music's all about the light and the shades, it's all about the heavy and the quiet, it's all about that contrast. And so for us, so mono obviously is as opposed to stereo. So stereo, two things, mono, one in the middle. So it's, you talk about designing your house monochrome, it's all black and white, it's just kind of invoking that whole thing. And a lot of the music is very much lyrically about difficult stuff, times when life does feel very black and white, very much just like, I'm either going to jump off this cliff or I'm going to work out a way to not, it's one of those two things. So I think for us it was just a kind of evoking that whole world of stuff, I guess.
When I joined the band, the guys very much said they love the drama, they love the sort of suspense and the quiet, and then the loud and the dramatic, and I think that's how I try and think of mono in that regard, certainly musically anyway.
Love it.
That's a hell of a segue. So let us get to the first song now. Gentlemen, we do not know what the first song is.
Okay.
We have not heard it. We left that to the intern. So we're just gonna listen and let it rip.
All right.
Life in mono.
Sound.
Let's go.
I'll color you in till there's nothing left, just a page of black. Held against my chest, I'll breathe you in and smoke you out. Your razor sharp till I black out. Are you too shy? Are we too shy? I said either come with me or it's goodbye. I don't mean to be so black and white. I'm just tongue-tied. Here's the dawn of light. You're just tongue-tied. I'll breathe you in and smoke you out. Your razor sharp till I black out.
had to finally open my eyes. I mean, I literally left the world on that song. I blacked out. I literally blacked out.
All right. So before I unleash, can we talk about what's the name of that song and the personnel on that song?
Track's called Blackout. And obviously it's me, Mike, and Sarah and James there.
Yeah.
Recorded and mixed by Bruno Ellingham, who is a beast of a producer that we're very big shout out to Bruno. We're really lucky that he joined on with us early doors. He's done loads of really cool stuff that you might have heard already. His way of doing stuff aligns perfectly with ours, which is very much just like, let's get you in a room, let's put some microphones up and hit record, and that's it, you know. So that track is as it is live, man. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Banks, you want to go first or me?
No, because you seem speechless, and you're never speechless. So
I'm definitely not speechless. The only thing that I'm trying to figure out, honestly, is if Sarah reminds me more of the singer with Everything But the Girl, or she reminds me of Dolores O'Riordan, rest in peace, from the Cranberries. Because she has this voice that is like a lioness on the hunt. You know what I mean? And so I'm trying. That's the only thing I'm speechless. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a good way to describe Sarah, actually.
Not gonna touch that one, brother, because I got problems of my own. But definitely, that song gets an A in my book. That is a complete vibe.
Thank you.
That is the kind of song that you definitely want to just vibe out on, and like both of us, because we're music lovers, any song that we close our eyes on, we're gone. We're no longer here. So that was completely dope. Miss Banks, what about you?
First, I just want to say shout out. I mean, that was a phenomenal song. Like he said, I literally closed my eyes. I literally can see. That's definitely going on my playlist, because that's something that I can literally put in my car, and when I'm going on a drive, I just want to hear. I just want to it gives me a peace of mind. That was a peace of mind, but yet so personal and very touching. Sarah's voice is amazing. The instruments, I can hear everything just was collaborated and put together so well. So shout out to your producer. Let me get a definite A from me.
Thank you
love
so much.
it. Absolutely love it. And we have a playlist that D-Ray will explain a little bit later, but it's definitely going on my personal playlist.
Going on there.
Thank you so much, guys.
Here's a question that I have. Because I'm listening to this song and I found myself going, I have got to see them do this live. Because, you know what I mean? Because like I can see the light show. I can see the club. I can see people completely putting their drink down, or in my case, taking at least one more shot and and just vibing. That's like, that song is like an experience. Do you find it difficult to convey the energy that you give or that you receive from an audience when you're playing live, and now you're in a studio where you don't get that energy? And do you find it difficult to sort of find a way to get that same energy so that people don't feel like, okay, they sound, because sometimes people say, oh, they sound better live. You know what I mean? Or the reverse sometimes is true. Oh, they just sound better on the record. But do you find that difficult in the recording process?
I think that's a great question, man. I think for us it's all about playing live. Like, it really is. That's how we record everything is I mean, with like, obviously there's some practical limitations to that. It's not practical to record the vocals live on a studio thing, so we record it with the vocals and then we'll go back and overdub that, just so we haven't got bleed on the mics and stuff like that. But other than that, like, the way we do things is like 100% live, and we're never really approaching a song when it comes to arrangements. We're never approaching it with the idea of like, oh, well, on the record we could throw a string section in and we could do this and that and throw it. It's always like, how can we do this in a gig situation. We're a live band, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
And you know what? We play together a lot. That's the reality, man. We play together a lot.
I'd say what you were saying, like, and I personally, for me as a musician, as well as it synced well when we started together as this band. I think we would always rather be the band that kind of excel live, and almost take a bit off the recordings. I'd hate to be a band that sounded better on recordings, and then you go see them live and you're like, oh, I'd much rather be, wow, they're amazing live, even better live, you know, especially now in the world of streaming, you know, that's where music is, isn't it? That's where the real benefit is live. It can be. I think we did quite well capturing the essence of it live. We'll talk about the other track as well, but that track is the first half of 2 tracks we recorded and played back to back. As in, James, the guitarist, literally had to swap guitars as quietly as he could in the studio in between the songs. So I think that really adds to the kind of what would you call it, the suspense and the room for error. You know, definitely.
And those 2 songs, the second one being Sex to White Noise, they got released as a double A sides, and you know they're very much, it's like we play them together live. We, you know, the whole thing, it's like it's an 11-minute take, you know. We just put a track break in the middle. So
Nice. So I'm sorry, Miss Banks, do you have another question real quick?
No, I'm listening.
Okay. Mike, I have a question for you. Do you have a personal hand in miking your own drums, or do you leave that to the engineer and the producer?
Miking, no, to be honest. I mean, I see what Bruno's doing when I'm setting up, and we'll maybe chat about things, but I know that he's more than capable, and you know, if I saw something out of place, I thought, why is he doing that? I'd maybe question it, but no, I've not. You know, I definitely don't go in there and say, you need to put it like this. I want this microphone on there. You know, I try and tune the drums as best I can and set them up as efficiently as I can. Absolutely. To you know, minimize Bruno running around stressing about cables.
You know,
he's
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying Mike's been very, very down on himself there. He's genius at like having a kit that actually sounds good. You know what I mean? I played with a lot of drummers, and like it's crazy. Like Michael, I'll be like, I love Mike's snare drum so much. It's the best snare I play with, and he'll just come in and be like, I've got a new snare, and I'm like, no, don't do that. And then I'll play with it, and I'll be like, oh, okay, actually that's even better. You know, so like, yeah,
Adam, that is exactly what I was getting at, because you know, when you listen to an actual drummer, drummers have signature sounds, right? And this is the first track I've heard, but there's a signature drum sound that plays very, very well with the lioness on the hunt and the thunder in the Serengeti as she's going after prey. So I feel a theme coming on. But I want to hear some more music before I
it's the chemistry that you
it
all
is chemistry, absolutely.
And like your chemistry speaks volume, and just we only heard one song, but the chemistry speaks volume. Like her voice, and then you with the drums, and then all the instruments, that it just so vibes so well. So it speaks a lot of chemistry. It's not a audience or a person that's out there that may not have heard this type of music before, but would hear this soundtrack and not close their eyes and feel it, because it's the chemistry that you all put together in that song. Amazing.
Oh, thanks so much, man. My head is just growing out now.
It should
now you're gonna have to turn your phone to the side. No.
Don't worry about it.
I'll take it. That'll be good.
So, without further ado, let's get to track number 2. I'm ready to keep it going. Whatever it is, let's roll. Life in Mono on the liftoff. Let's go.
Police were waiting turned to black when the blood hit the dust. And I'm not at my best. Come lay down where it's safe. We'll keep the lights on, just in case you wake. The cold it cold. Giant don't swim. Held only for a moment by the water's skin. The cold it cold. Giant don't swim. Held only for a moment by the water's skin.
So tell us, gentlemen, the name of the song and everything behind it.
So this tune's called The Cold, and it is it's quite a personal song, I think, and I don't want to speak too much to the lyrics because that's Sarah's world, and it's very much a sort of real life experience type song, but it's about a dark time, I think it's fair to say, and like I think it's all in there, it's all in the words, and worth going to listen. But for us, to think the job was really to just try to create a texture, for a backdrop for those lyrics to be to kind of showcase what that's all about, to give the right vibe for the whole thing, and obviously quite a kind of, there's a long instrumental break in there, and it's very much kind of part of the story, for me at least, of the song. So I think it's one of those, really.
I love this song. It's really good fun to play, but just to point out, that's not actually me on the drums. That is previous drummer Tom before me. But yeah, it's a really fun song to play, and very back to what we talked about earlier. I love it. Really highlights the mono in terms of the big crashy, washy choruses, and there's fill bits, but then there's the verses are completely down, and like drum wise is pretty much tapping. Really trying to get that feeling in there.
Yeah, and also I just want to say the way Mike plays it is like the last 30 seconds. It's like all gospel drum chops. It's all just like
Try my best.
crazy.
You did away with one of my questions, because I was going to ask, did he record the drums different? Because that's a different sound, and so now
you got a good ear, man.
That makes completely good sense to me. You know what, Miss Banks, I don't even know if we're going to do ratings this show, because
I don't think so. It sounds like it's going to be a straight A.
It's going to be like a solid A. So I can't even.
Kind.
Because the way that just the instrumental breakdown, the change in modes, the change in tempo, and I'm not going to go too deep, because like you said, the mastermind is not here, but I even detected in the lyrics that it's mastery, how you can mold the music to fit those lyrics, that you are now feeling what she was trying to convey through those lyrics. That line, "and we'll leave the lights on," that's going to get played again later on today.
Yes.
And I got a giant 1,000-watt speaker that the neighborhood is about to be introduced.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna know when I get off and turn the lights on, because
that's what I'm saying. Leave the lights on. Yeah.
But if you turn that up loud, you really hear how good Bruno is as a producer, man. Like, for real.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the one. You mentioned Everything But the Girl earlier. I'm pretty sure Bruno made that.
Bruno produced them.
He
Get out of here!
Their most recent record. Yeah. I think it's like either about to come out or it just came out. Or so
Exclusive. Yeah.
They were constantly in my crate, because I was a DJ about 20 some years ago, and they were constant. I played them constantly.
Nice.
So that
cool band.
Big, and it's somebody else I can't think of right off the top of my head, but shout out to Sarah, because those lyrics and her vocals just fit.
Now, dude, I remember. So sorry, just to jump in there. Like I remember. So I said before, like me and Sarah met at uni, and we've been in bands together since I was 18 or whatever. And like I remember, like the first time I heard her sing, like in our first like class together or whatever, and I was just like, oh, we're gonna have to make music with you, like straight up. And like I remember being like the first time we were in a studio together or something. We were recording a like half-baked song, and it didn't have any words yet or whatever. And Sarah just going like, "Oh, give me a second," and just sitting down on the sofa and just like scribbling something out, and then singing it. And it was like, "Oh, you just wrote that now," and it's just like just perfect. You know what I mean? It just works. Like,
we have to have her back on here.
Oh yeah.
So now
for sure,
I've got
man.
to meet her. I have got to meet her and James.
Oh, she'd love
see where this is all coming from. So let me ask you this question. Do everyone write a song, or is it just one person that writes a song and then you all flow with it?
That's a great question. So you keep calling her the mastermind. I think that's fair. So Sarah is the nucleus for a lot of the material. Okay. She comes into the room with chords and melodies and lyrics. And then the rest of the three of us really kind of go like use that as a jumping off point. I think it's pretty fair to say. And like, because I think for me, like my job is arrangement. That's the way I see it. Like our job, I don't mean mine specifically. Like, but it's all about like finding ways to get the message across that Sarah's trying to say. So we've all written bits. James, like the whole second half of The Colds that we just listened to, that was like Sarah had this song, and then James was like, how about we do this next, and then like this crazy riff, and then that all just turns into this whole end thing. So it's definitely a collaborative process, but we'd be lying if we said that it wasn't you know, like from it all starts with Sarah's strange little brain.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first question is, when you have such heavy content, when you have such, because basically you guys are pouring out your spirit, you know what I mean, and that can make you empty. How do you recharge and not just get so drained? Because that's some very, very heavy content. How do you recharge?
Well, live before a gig, we often quite like to just play really cheesy pop music.
Yeah.
Before, because it would be too obvious to put on really moody, down tempo rock music. Much as we love that, and I think it's little things like that. Like we're you know, it's heavy content, but you know, we're quite jovial, normal people most of the time. So the kind of and we have a good relationship with each other. So we try and keep it the rest of the time sort of lighter somewhat. But yeah, I don't know what you would think, Adam.
I was going to say, I heard it described once that an extrovert is someone who gets energy from being around people, and an introvert is someone who gets energy from being on their own. And I think it's probably fair to say that the band is for introverts. I think that's probably fair to say, or at least pretty close to that, you know. So in reality, we like playing music, and then we like closing the door and just like, that's enough, like turn off the lights and just quiet, you know. So it's really saving it up for the band. I think it's therapy for a lot of us, you know.
The music's quite heart on your sleeve music, but I wouldn't say that we're really heart on our sleeve people. Would you, Adam?
No, I don't get the vibe from y'all. Like, there's no vibe about that. Like, not at all. Even I can't even see that the music is heartless. I just really get more feelings. It's more emotional, and if you are in that space or you've been somewhere close to that space, you feel it through the song. Absolutely. And that's just what I pick up. So thank you. If that's heartless, then I guess I was heartless a lot.
I said heart on your sleeve. It's your expression. Sorry, not heartless. Like pouring it out. Yeah, definitely.
Well, then I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot because literally, like so far the two songs that we've heard, I mean, it's just so. It's just.
Pretty raw.
See, I don't even got words. I have to do this.
Thank you. That's my favorite. That's my favorite description of the music. You know?
We don't have the pictures up to put up right now, but I've been looking at your releases on Apple Music and Spotify.
Sure.
Whose idea is the cover art? And that one album that I saw, I need to know whose picture that is.
Which
the little
which
girl
one was that?
The little girl. Is that Sarah?
Yeah, no, it's not.
I thought it was.
Yeah. It's that one was Sarah. So that was our first EP. So Sarah was just like, I can't remember where she found that picture, but she was like, I found this photo and it's creepy and weird and I love it. We were like, okay. And she literally just like tore a corner off it and took a photo, and that was it, you know. And it was just like, that works, you know. It really works, and we really like the ambiguity of it all. Like, I think none of our artwork is too literal, I hope. And but it very much is something that we all like. We always get an artist with the exception of that one, which actually Sarah created on her own, fair play. But like, other than that, all the other art we've done has been getting an amazing artist, or finding some amazing art online, and getting in touch with the artist and saying, we love what you do and we'd really love to use it for, if you're into it and stuff. And so far we've found some really great collaborations. So it's
artwork for The Cold was actually a really nice lady who was, I think she was at the bar of one of our gigs.
Yeah,
is that right, Adam? And on her side project is photography, and we really like that.
Right there. Wow.
Y'all have some very dope covers. All right. I got more questions, but I just want to hear some more music. So,
let's get to the next one.
Let's get to
I'm ready to close my eyes again.
Yeah, whatever it is, let's let it rip. Life in Mono on the liftoff.
Life in Mono.
I feel like putting my middle finger up after that song. I'm fighting the urge.
Yeah, man.
That is the vibe.
Fight it, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That is the perfect description. Tell us about this song, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So Smile for the Camera. It is a middle finger, you know. It really is, and it's about fucking social media, dude. Like, it's cool. Like, so there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? I get it. It's a great way to get stuff out there. It's a great way to connect with people. All of those things. But also, man, does it have some dark sides to it? And it's really one of those songs that's just. It's very much a kind of an angry moment, and it's we hate this, we don't want to be part of this anymore, and you know, like that said, follow us on Instagram. You know, and
Right.
that's the thing, it's that dichotomy, it's that whole thing, it's the vacuous nature of it, combined with the whole, I don't know, man, you said it best, it's a middle finger, you know, it really is.
You know, given what you said earlier, that makes perfect sense to me. If you have a band, like I've managed artists before who hate social media. And in my experience, the best artists hate social media. They literally hate it. They literally say, the only relationship I want you to know or have with me is the music that I create. I don't want you to know what I eat. I don't want you to know what goes on in the bathroom. I just, you know what I mean? And so,
for sure. Yeah, and I think you know, we probably that's probably not a million miles from where we feel. I think you have to recognize these days, like, it's so hard to get a following if you're not online, and understandably so, man. Like, you gotta have something that you gotta be able to Google a band, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, how are you gonna know who they're attracted by, you know? And so, you know, of course, like, we're delighted when people want to engage with us on social media. I think for us though, it's just like, it's not a bunch of selfies of us in our underwear, it's not our dinner, you know what I mean? It's about the music, at least, or it's about the band, at least, you know. It's not about the individual, hopefully, anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
No, just I think it's very much about the sort of fake nature that social media can show, and just the immediacy of it, you know, but also with that the lack of longevity, you know, the expiry date of social media, and that's the sort of evils that they're on about. It's an amazing tool, but equally there's some pitfalls to it. But yeah, I mean, Angry Song, my forearm's always absolutely killing at the end of that track, because I'm always just pounding the hell out of it, and I'm always worried I'm just going to see a crack just come down all the way my cymbals, because I'm always just going absolutely ham.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So James is on the guitar.
Damn,
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, you guys played in a funk band together?
Oh no, so Mike was in a crazy cool funk band, actually. I mean, funk, hip hop. Yeah, still exists, right? That wasn't with James, though. That was with my old housemate Chris. That's how me and Mike kind of are tight.
Okay.
And but no, James is a beast of a guitarist that Sarah actually found at a jam night a few years back, and that solo on that track, which like, it's worth just listening back to that one. That was like first take, literally just like, oh, let me try this, and then just like, and there it was, like this crazy fast solo, man. Like,
and the reason I asked is because that solo reminded me of something that Eddie Hazel, rest in peace, would do. Eddie Hazel was the guitarist for Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Back in the 70s.
Maggot Brain and all that.
And Maggot Brain, absolutely. There was a couple of riffs that I was like, oh, somebody must have listened to Eddie Hazel once or twice. But shout out to him, shout out to that song. And I feel the same way about social media, but you know, it is what it is sometimes. But
sorry, I just wanted to. This is social media. I just wanted to, because I know it would annoy me if I was in James's shoes. It occurred to me as we were listening to that, I think James actually wrote the first half of The Cold as well. I said he wrote the second half. I think he also did the first half, and then Sarah put her work over the top. I just wanted to say that because I know he'll watch this back and he'll have a go at me if I don't mention it. So, you know, I just wanted to point that out.
Well, we don't want anybody going at anybody.
No.
Because we want them back.
James is he's a very aggressive man.
Yeah,
you know,
we don't want that.
It's scary, man.
Yeah,
Just to point out as well,
yeah, we don't want that at all.
that recording was also previous drummer, just to say recording, but still the same energy.
We've got a bunch of material with Mike on it that we are yet to release. So I just want to say it's like any minute now it's going to be well overshadowed by Mike's appearance. Mike is very much the rhythm heart of this band, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, we have a drummer for him, but that's not what the band is. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
Well,
So,
we would like
go
to be
ahead.
the first when y'all release it.
Please.
We love to have you back on the
Oh,
show
man.
so we can
Please.
interview you and put your music back out there and give all the love back to Mike.
Well, that would be our
Please,
pleasure.
please, when you
We'd
guys
love
get
that.
ready to release it, you have to come back. Like
Only if you promise to have another new hat for that.
New hats.
Show. New hats every time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
have
love
one for
this
you
hat.
too, sis.
Yes,
Look
nice.
At the hater. Look at the hater up at the top.
You know what? Roll the last song because because we don't have a budget for that big of a head. So
You know, it's getting there.
Yeah.
all right, let's hear the last song, Life in Mono. This has been great. So let's go. Let's
Yay.
listen.
All right.
Everything sounds like my head's underwater. All my senses doing all to destroy her. It all amounts to nothing. I'm just trying to feel something. It needs to run through my veins. I'm turning like a hurricane. I'm turning like a hurricane. Sleeping with you. It's like having sex to white noise. It's like having sex to white noise. It's like everything sounds like my head's underwater. All my senses doing all to destroy her. It all amounts to nothing. I'm just trying to do something. It needs to run through my veins. I'm turning like a hurricane. I'm turning like a hurricane. Sleeping with you. It's like having sex to white noise.
You know,
I'm speechless.
if I ever decided to get my PhD and I needed to do a dissertation, I think I would use this song. Because it's like, for whatever reason, it was triggering my left side and my right side of my brain. You know,
Nice.
it's almost like, you know, the lyric laying with you is like having sex to white noise. And then the music and the instrumentation is almost like you have this part, then you have that lull of weightlessness, then now you're back, and it's like this roller coaster of emotion that I could probably write a good 30 or 40 page dissertation on just this song.
Thank
And
you.
I don't say that a lot because Lord knows I'm not going to get my PhD.
Yeah.
That master's was enough. So let's talk about the song, production wise, personnel, and if you could, I know you don't want to elaborate on Sarah's lyrics, but if you could, what is the scope or what is the message of this song?
Well, I mean, I know that the lyrics started from a conversation we were having in the practice room about. I don't know, we were just mucking around. I think we were just talking shit and talking about, like, you know, what is the best music to have sex to or whatever. And I made a comment about, man, I'll have sex to white noise, you know. And Sarah's just like, ooh, that's a thing, you know. And then I think it's really about, there's a theme that I pick up on in a lot of Sarah's lyrics, which is this kind of numbness, you know. There's a real like sense of like a feeling of numbness, a feeling of like being like disconnected from reality in some sense.
I was going to say maybe escapism, but definitely, yeah. It's almost like audio heroin. You know, like I don't want to feel right now.
Yeah, it is plug in and check out. Yeah,
very much so. And I mean, you know, Sarah has said publicly before about, you know, like if you've ever, I think she said on this one, if you've ever been on diazepam, you get it. You know, I think it is. I think you're in the ballpark, man. And I mean, you know, like, sonically, this one and the very first song that we listened to, these are the two songs that were recorded back to back, 11-minute one take thing. They were written like off the back of each other. I'm big into my doom metal, you know, a lot of Amen Ra and Old Man Gloom and, you know, all these like crazy awesome doom bands. Mike's into that stuff too, and it really just started to be this kind of like drop tunes, like deep thing. It started life as like the second half of Blackout, the first song we listened to, and it just wasn't right. It was too much for one thing, you know. And Bruno, our producer, was like, no, that's a whole other song. Split it off and write another song with it. And he was right, you know. And 5-string bass and a baritone guitar later, and here we are, you know. So yeah,
a few broken sticks.
I can imagine.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I can imagine. Miss Banks, any questions? You good?
No, I just think that I haven't heard one song yet that hasn't told something about this band, whether it was speaking from Sarah or just speaking overall as you guys as an entity together. Again, it's the collaboration, it's how powerful you guys are, and how it speaks volume to whatever audience. It doesn't have to be a specific audience to listen to your music. It's just the way she sings and the way that the music all comes together. You can feel it no matter what type of genre of music you're used to listening to. Right. And that's phenomenal when you can portray that across the board. So for me, it's just hands down amazing. It's just amazing.
Thank you so much.
Shout out for that. 2 quick questions. Number 1, do you guys prefer, when you're listening to your own music, do you prefer like listening on streaming apps? Do you prefer CDs, or are you audiophiles that prefer vinyl?
Well, I love a vinyl, but
I knew it. That's why I said that.
yeah, I do. I love a vinyl, but I you know, man, if you looked into the practicalities of printing vinyl, it's
yeah, absolutely,
it's expensive.
Absolutely.
I mean,
great
like,
for the planet either. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Apparently not.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Apparently not.
It probably sounds the best, but yeah.
As long as you can plug a decent pair of speakers, I think the only thing for me really in this day and age is like let's not sit there and listen to music on our phones, like on the phone speaker. You know what I mean? Let's get some headphones. Let's get a decent, even just like a £70 Bluetooth speaker, something. You know, let's just give it a little something here. You know,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I'm happy as long as people are listening, man.
They're listening. Trust me.
Thank you.
And if they're not. If we got anything to do with it, they will this year.
They will
Thank
be.
you.
Yeah,
My last question, and either one can answer or both of you. What is the identity of Life in Mono that you want to implant in your current fans and your future fans? What identity do you want people to be known? What do you want the band to be known for?
Wow, what a question.
Good music, plain and simple, really. Tend to put that up front. You talk about social media, and we're talking about, you know, the duality and the kind of fakeness that can be there. I'd personally rather be the lovely old aging barrel of whiskey in the corner than the latest, greatest brand apparel on sale thing in the supermarket.
I'm glad you can't trademark an idea, because I'm going to say that I'm going to use that again.
I love that. I'm sitting trying to, you know, take a
go for it.
recording of what he just said. That is so perfectly said.
That was awesome.
Yeah, man. I think as well, like, you know, if you're in the UK and you can come see us live, that's where we live, man. We're on the we have a live video coming out next week, I think, for Blackout and Sex White Noise. We just did it. We got in a different studio and did another 11-minute thing. Just did the whole thing.
One shot.
One shot. Yeah, one shot.
Yeah.
It's like so it's a real vibe, you know. So I think is it coming out next week, Mike, or the week after?
Friday.
Yeah, safe. Okay,
So
cool. So
we would love to play that on one of our shows. So
please, absolutely, we'd be delighted.
We would love.
We'll send you a link. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
100%.
You know, it's times like this that I hate that this show is just an hour, because we blinked and it's been an hour.
Man.
This has been so fun. Thanks so much for having us. Honestly, it's been a real pleasure to get to hang out with you guys and everything. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Do you have any? Okay, Miss Banks, any parting shots?
I just want to say, you know, tell everybody, welcome Miss Sophia.
Yes.
She did a great job.
Was ready to feel the drop in every time.
Do you guys have any? Tell everybody where we can find you. Like, what platforms are you guys located on? How can we find you? Anything that you want us to put out there to the audience on how they can find your music, and also any shout outs if you want to give shout outs to family, friends that love on you, that support you in the time of what you guys are doing. This is your platform. How about it?
Oh man, thank you, Sophia. Yeah, tell your daughter she's Spotify. We're there. All the DSPs, all the streaming services we should be up on. Life in Mono. There's an album called Life in Mono by Emma Bunton, I think.
A good song called Life in Mono, isn't there? Good 90s song.
Yeah, who are a sick band. Mono are great as well. But yeah, we're not those guys. But yeah, Life in Mono official. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We are on YouTube. You know, all the usual places. We're online, man. Come find us and like give us a shout. Say hi. You know, we're chill and we're very friendly bunch. You know, we make depressing music, but we're nice people. I promise.
Shout out wise.
Your lips is gonna take that over in your accent. So for nothing else, you guys are gonna get hit up with the ladies on your accent.
And look, let me tell you, that's not depressing music at all. If anything, it'll help the world population. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
We'll try our best. Shout out wise, we've got to shout out Sarah's husband Johnny. who's always at the merch table, always helping loading in. Speaking of loading in, James's mate Mark, he's our
roadie.
basic roadie. He's an absolute legend.
Absolutely.
And we got to shout out. We've already mentioned him, but Bruno Ellingham, our producer, he's been a massive help.
And I also just want to shout out Pip the cat, who's been chilling in my lap the whole time. Being,
Look, this is how I know
We are a cat band. Vladimir.
Yeah, man.
This is how I know you and Veep get along, because his cat will just show up as well. So,
totally.
That's
nice
awesome.
one. Oh, Mike, you turned your camera off, dude. Come on, we got this
sorry.
far without
I
issues. Come on,
I tried to show the cat. Oh no!
It is
I can still hear
okay.
you guys.
It is all right.
But no,
All
but no, big love to you guys. Thank you so much for having us. So thank you for being into what we do and wanting to promote us over the ocean. There, we really appreciate it. And let's like I say, let's do this again sometime.
Let's do it. All right.
Thanks very much,
Miss Banks.
We'll bring Sarah and James on next time as well, for sure.
Please bring James and the mastermind. I have questions for the mastermind. Yeah,
of course.
But
I have to have a special hat for the mastermind. I have to have a special. It might just say Sarah.
no, it'll say lioness. That's what it'll say.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. This has been the
I
lift
just
off.
want to say thank you guys for taking the time out.
Absolutely.
This is amazing. I mean, the fact that you took the time out way from over there in the UK to sit on here and grace us with your presence, it's phenomenal. It's like I know me and my brother argue a lot, but we couldn't have done a show this, and you're our first guest for 2023, so happy new year to that. And what a way to start off our 2023 show. And I welcome you back. Like the video, we would love to see the video. We want to love on you. Whenever you guys want to come, you just send us a text and you just say, hey, we're ready, and you will be on here. And
thank you so much.
That.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We'd love to. Anytime, man. We'll do it. We'll make it happen.
All right. This has been the Lift Off Indie Music Podcast. I am D-Ray, the producer, along with my queen ace, Miss Banks. We will see you next week, and shout out Life in Mono. Before we go, we did mention earlier in the hour, Life in Mono will be on our official Blast Off Spotify playlist. We will be adding you guys to that playlist today.
Thanks very much.
So as you are looking for them on social media or whatever, definitely look for the Blast Off Spotify playlist, and their music will be on there by the end of the day. All right.
Awesome.
Signing off. See you guys next week.
Signing off.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.